Qrow is Ruby's real father, not Tai Yang. But Qrow wanted Ruby to believe that Tai is her father. But why would Qrow leave, you ask? Well, his semblance is bad luck. He has no control over it. People around him get affected by his semblance, so it's pretty clear on why he left. He just simply did not want to put Ruby in harm's way. The most popular piece of evidence people like to bring up is from the song Bad Luck Charm. It says, "You and I are not the same. You do not want the burden of my name." As you have probably caught on, people believe that it is Ruby he is talking about. You do not want my name, so therefore you are not going to have it. You are going to have the name of your mother. This is a way for people to explain why Yang took her father's last name and Ruby didn't. Tai isn't actually her father. From that song, Qrow really seems to be down on himself. He wants to be alone, so stay away from me. I am a bad luck charm. Drinking, well, I'm sure does not doesn't practically do anything. I'm sure it helps him forget from time to time. Qrow is a walking bad luck charm to himself and others around him. If Qrow were to be Ruby's father, there is some logical knowledge for why he didn't let her know. Summer. It is uncertain how or when she died, or how old Ruby was when it happened, but losing a parent is the single most stressful life event a child can go through. For an adult, however, losing a spouse is number one. So, theoretically, both Qrow and Ruby went through the single-handedly most stressful life event both of them could have possibly experienced. It could be what led Qrow to drink as it does with many other people. So without a mother, who is Ruby to go to? The only one that is left, her father. But since Qrow's a living bad luck charm, makes sense as to why he wouldn't want Ruby to be around him, especially when at such a young and vulnerable age she can't protect herself as a baby or as a young girl. She would be safer with Tai because Qrow can trust him. But just because he has bad luck doesn't mean he has to stay away from her forever. Now, part of what I am about to say is the much weaker evidence to this all, but everything is worth note. The way they look, the way they fight, and the way they dress. They both wield scythes, they both wear capes, and they both sport a cross. Most people chalk that up to he was her teacher. Even Ruby says that Qrow taught her. He helped her build her weapon and helped her train. But when you look at Tai and Yang, all those things are there as well. They look the same, they fight the same, and they also train together. But why doesn't Tai help Ruby train? Perhaps because Qrow wants father-daughter time with Ruby, similar to the end of Volume 3. Qrow's pleas to Tai to talk to Ruby had such a sincere, I need to talk to her alone, just me and her. Tai, please. All Tai did in that scene was tell her what happened. Beacon fell and the dragon froze, and in moments like that, friend's dead, traumatic events, the parents should be the one to put their child at ease. And even if this theory isn't true, Tai Yang still should have been the one to put Ruby at ease as a parent, but Qrow was the one who did that. Qrow is the one who was constantly watching over Ruby. He watched when she first talked to Osmond. He watched as she traveled to Mistral. Qrow has been keeping an avid eye on Ruby for what seems like her entire life, making sure that she is safe so that, and why not reveal himself? Well, you see, everyone has a choice. Qrow decided that his semblance to be around a defenseless child was unsafe for her, so he decided to hand her over to Tai, putting up this false life of Ruby's, thus sparing her the pain of losing a parent and not being allowed to be around the other. Instead, she's only lost one and can be around her father safely, and to feel himself now would be such a life-shattering moment for Ruby. Her mother is dead. Her father isn't actually her father. Instead, her perceived uncle is actually her father, and Yang isn't actually her sister. So much of what Ruby knows would come crumbling down on top of her, and there would be no "I understand" type reaction. No one in their right mind would believe that a 16-year-old girl could both process that while also accepting it, so to spare her even more emotional pain. And he just refuses to cause it. This also leads to one more scene being called into question. And that is when he shows Yang the picture of her mother along with the rest of Team Stark. The question here is, why does he have a picture on him? To just remind him of the better times in his life? Most people, when they carry around a picture of someone or a group of people, there's usually someone specific in that photo that the person cares about. It is typically kept as a reminder of something: love, event, anything. People hold on to pictures because they still want to see someone even when that someone is no longer alive. Qrow seems fully capable of seeing Ty any day. Him and Raven, while siblings and have a rocky history, have been shown to meet up from time to time as well as keep an eye on each other. Summer really seems to be the only reason Qrow is holding on to that picture. When you look at the picture, there are certain subtleties with it that kind of speak for itself, and that is the quote-unquote damage the picture has sustained. When you look at Qrow's picture and the picture Ty has in his house, the two are in different conditions. It looks as though Qrow has been crying and shedding tears over his picture, causing these little stains. Some are also uncertain as to what is going on here. Seems that Summer is almost circled. Once again, those details are not in Tai Yang's picture, so it is not just how the picture turned out. So one way to phrase it is a picture is worth 1,000 words. And Qrow's picture her, speaks for itself. Summer's death affected him in one way or another, whether they were past lovers or just very close teammates. Now, do I believe this theory? Yes, I do.